Hello everyone, welcome to Zero's Lab. Today is Friday, October 3rd, 2014. I'm Mark Brash, your host, and this is your update on the Vortex field permanent magnet motor. So as I stated in a previous video that I would be returning to my roots and making another attempt at a permanent magnet motor. I call this permanent magnet motor the VFPMM, the Vortex Field Permanent Magnet Motor, simply because I envision my permanent magnet motor not as a closed device but as an open system device, taking in the energy through 0 point or through vortex field energy or from the ether, whatever you want to call it. I believe that that energy will actually be funneling through the center of the device and causing the actual rotation, even though it defies explanation. But I believe that after I go through the explanation, you will see some similarities between this and Eric Dollard's 4-quadrant theory of AC electricity. Only this being a mechanical representation of that rather than an electrical representation of it. If you have not seen my Twitter feed, please go to this URL right here, http://twitter.com/zerofossilfuel, and you will see a post that I made of some pictures of these drawings that I'm about to show and explain to you. So you might want to go back and reference those pictures. I am going to post them at altenergy.org as well, but I did want to go through an explanation of these drawings right now in the process of building the VFPMM, simply because I have had these drawings reviewed by several people who are quite scholarly, and all have looked at me with the deer in the headlights look, and about the only comment that they can make is, yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, I agree with that one too. So if you get this far, you've already gone through most of the cycle, and you can get this far and you can get continuous all the way through. So I want this to be published right now so that in case this machine does work, the information is already out there. So let's go over the diagram one step at a time. First, I want to show you some of the parts that I've got here. I have the zoom in a little bit. So I have the rotating drum on a spindle. This piece of black tape here is actually holding a washer against the side of the drum because the thickness of the wall diameter of the drum, which is a cut-off section of PVC pipe or acrylic pipe, it's about 15,000ths of an inch thinner on this side than it is on this side. So even though it's centered, it's off balance without this washer inside. It just sits on the spindle. I'm going to pop it off the spindle so that you can see how it pops off of the spindle. Okay. Spindle rotates very freely, and there's just a spring-loaded ball bearing inside the opening of this aluminum hub that locks it into place on the bearing shaft. Now underneath is a bevel gear. It has 30 teeth on it. This was printed for me by Russ Grease. To go along with it, I have a pinion gear on a couple of bearings with a sliding acrylic frame that sits on the base of the motor. And to give you an idea of the mechanical operation of these two pieces in conjunction with one another, I'll zoom in even further. And I'll do my best to hold this with one hand. And just do that. It might help if I had a lighter background for you. I apologize for that. There. With my hand behind it, you can see that pretty well. Okay, so they engage very nice and smoothly. And the mechanical drawing goes like this. Okay. This right here is the top view of the VFPMM. Oops. And looking down into the drum, you can see 6 bar magnets. I have the north and south poles denoted on the bar magnets. And then down below, over here, you see the magnet that will spin in front of the faces of the magnets as they move past. This is a 48 tooth spur gear, of which I have 2. They are these spur gears right here. I picked those up today at a place called RC Madness in Enfield, Connecticut. And unfortunately I just disturbed the position of the permanent magnet on the end of this. I will have to epoxy it into place, but here is the actual magnet. Okay. On a threaded screw, which is a number 1024 threaded screw. The way this operates is the drum is mechanically coupled to the cylindrical magnet in front of the drum. So the drum spins this way and the magnet spins in and out. If you take this view right here and you flip it upwards towards you like this, that becomes this front view right here, so that you can see the orientation of the gears and how they interconnect. And then take this drawing and spin it 90 degrees this way, and you now look at the side of the device, and you can see again a very good picture of how the gears engage one another. And I've also shown the 3-to-1 ratio of the bevel gears and the 1-to-1 ratio of the 2 spur gears. So for every 1 revolution of the drum, you get 3 revolutions of the cylindrical magnet. The cylindrical magnet is diametrically magnetized, meaning it is not axially magnetized. An axially magnetized cylindrical magnet is magnetized north-south on the round faces. A diametrically magnetized magnet is magnetized north-south across the diameter of the magnet, and that's important with this design. Now, for every time 1 magnet passes by the cylindrical magnet, you get 1/2 rotation. Each of these cylindrical magnets, each of these bar magnets, each has their poles facing one another. Now I'll show this to you in the linear representation right here. This is where people get hung up. Okay, this is where they look at it and they say, okay, I agree with that snapshot. So what we've got is they're all numbered. I have 5 different snapshots of the motion of the cylindrical magnet in relation to the bar magnets as they pass across in front of the cylindrical magnet. We have frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, and frame 5. Okay? In frame 1, the cylindrical magnet has the north pole facing straight up, and the north pole of the bar magnet is to this side of it. With the cylindrical magnet in this position, I've already tested this, there is a very strong rotational force on the cylindrical magnet. Now, at this point, there is no linear force in either direction on the bar magnets. The only force that is being exerted right here is rotational force from the cylindrical magnet, which is being mechanically coupled to the drum. And this rotational force of the cylindrical magnet mechanically drives the drum from your right to left. So let's follow the progression, okay? Here is the bar magnet. In the next frame, it moves a little bit more to your left, and you see that the cylindrical magnet is now at a 45-degree angle. At this point, you still have a small amount of mechanical rotational energy being inputted from the cylindrical magnet, but you also now have building an attractive force of the cylindrical magnet in relation to the bar magnets as they're passing by. One interesting thing to note about the way I have these magnets oriented is that the poles all face one another, and there are an even number of magnets in the drum or in the ring that passes by the cylindrical magnets. This is a design concept that is shared by the OCM PMM, which many of you saw previously and may or may not have worked, but I believe that that is one of the keys, if it did work, that made it work. Now in the next frame, you see that the bar magnets have progressed even further to your left. And in this position now, you have the cylindrical magnet directly between the two like poles of the bar magnets. In this case, right here, you have a small repelling force, and here you have a small attractive force, which combined create a large linear force of the bar magnets moving across the face of the cylindrical magnet. But at this part of the cycle, there is no rotational energy being created by the cylindrical magnet. So it's shifted from all rotational to shared to all linear, and then you follow it through the rest of the progression. It is shared, linear, rotational, and then in the last frame, all rotational. And as far as we can tell, that creates one continuous motion from right to left in relation to the cylindrical magnets. That's the theory, and that's what I will be testing with the prototype of my model. I really can't find a sticky point in this whole process, and that's what has me perplexed. And this is the design that kept me awake at night, and had me waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning with my mind buzzing, having to put the stuff down on paper, and now finally getting around to actually building it. The cylindrical magnet can be driven in either direction depending on what phase you started at. So in this phase here, the cylindrical magnet has to rotate clockwise in relation to the travel of the bar magnets. But if I was to start with the north face of the cylindrical magnet at this part of the phase down instead of up, then it could rotate counterclockwise. So the method of gearing is wide open. You don't necessarily have to do it one way versus another way. It's all a matter of the phase relationship between the cylindrical magnet and the linear magnet. But here's what I think makes it work, is the fact that you have an exchange of motive forces that is exchanging from rotary to linear back to rotary in a sinusoidal fashion. Now don't forget, from here to here is only one half of the cycle, one half of the complete cycle. Once it passes this, once this bar magnet starts to pass, then the other half of the cycle completes. So for every single rotation of the cylindrical magnet, you get 2 bar magnets passing by. And that gives you the full 360-degree alternating mechanical cycle of this device. That's what we'll be testing. That's the theory. I wanted to share this with you right now. I'm actually sharing this on Ustream live right now as well. It is being recorded on Ustream. If you wish to see the unedited version of this video on Ustream, just go to ustream.tv/channel/Zero Fossil Fuel, and all of my recorded videos will be there. It's time for me to get back to work. I have members of my nerd herd waiting for me in chat to return. I want to wish everyone well. I hope you will share this video, and as always, please rate, share, comment, and subscribe, and wish me luck. One other thing I wanted to mention that I forgot earlier, I'm going to use an early sketch of my idea as a backdrop so that you can see this more clearly. But if you look at the base of my device, you can see that there are radially 5 lines that I've drawn on the base. These 5 lines represent the 5 locations in which I will have spinning cylindrical magnets against the 6 magnets inside the drum, which will give me 30 points of acceleration, or 30 crossover points for each rotation of the drum. And if there is any pulsing action of the motor whatsoever, those 30 crossover points should make it a very smooth operation. All of this, of course, is contingent on proof of concept of the first one, which being this one, works. So we'll see what happens. That's the ultimate goal, to have a total of 5 mechanical rotating, spinning cylindrical magnets around the drum, which is rotating, all of them coupled to the bevel gear in the center, and all of them timed correctly to the magnets as they pass by. I don't think I need to explain to anyone what it means to humanity if this works. Okay? I don't think I need to explain it, but I'm going to explain it anyway. It means the end of suffering. It means the end of coal-fired electric power plants. It means the end of nuclear disasters like Fukushima. It means the end of nuclear power. It means the end of hydroelectric power. Okay? We won't even need the dams. It means the end of wind turbine generation, electric generation farms, just polluting our landscape. Okay? No one likes to see them. No one likes to maintain them. It means the end of those. It means the end of blood for oil. Okay? Let's bring our soldiers home. Let's defend the homeland. I'm not naive. I'm not saying that we will never again have a need for oil. We'll have a need for oil. All right? I'm not naive enough to think that we're going to run heavy earth movers and large machinery with electric motors. That's not going to happen. Okay? Those run on diesel and hydraulics and things of that nature. We'll always have need for lubricants. We'll always have need for synthetic products that are made from petroleum. But certainly our consumption will dwindle to, I can't even guess what the fraction would be. It's going to be really small, like maybe 0.1% of what we use today. We certainly won't be using it for fuel. Internal combustion engines will be a thing of the past. We can have one of these in every basement. We can have one of these in the trunk of every car, charging the batteries when the car is not being used. It means the end of high-tension power transmission lines. Completely decentralized power. It means being able to go outside and take a breath of fresh air. and not worry about polluting our groundwater. It changes the game. It changes everything. If this works, and I hope it does, it changes everything. This weekend, I hope to have a proof of concept working. And that's all. I don't know if there's anything significant about the date, October 3rd, 2014. I don't know if there's anything significant about any of the dates that occur this weekend, other than to say that it may be the time that changes the course of humanity. And I would be honored to bring that to you. As always, please rate, share, comment, and subscribe to my videos. And I sincerely mean peace, everyone.